different point of view from another research may eventually come to light, but the difference may be in the framework for observation and understanding. As I was talking about, that somebody might have found a different answer for the research topic, but this is your research, this is your understanding, this is your observation, and you need to be clear on what you have done, and you need to focus on what your research findings are. Okay, that could be a little bit different from others, but maybe on the same line. Next, your theoretical and conceptual framework. I have already discussed that what other research have found out, what the other researchers have studied in line with your own research is your conceptual or theoretical framework. Like, what is your background? So this consists of the theoretical conceptual framework consists of the components and their interrelationships. Okay, the components interact with each other, and the interaction are either shown in a diagram or mathematical form. So they're saying when we're talking about the conceptual framework or theoretical framework, they can be in the theoretical way, or you can put in a mathematical form as well, or in a diagram, or the flow chart as well. So, statement of the problem. A research proposal is prompted by questions uh, of observed phenomena which call for an explanation. So, whenever we are talking about the research problem, you talk about your explanation as well. What were the question, and why did you select those questions? In a research proposal, the problem needs to be stated correctly by the way of precise question, which demands a specific answer. So your questions can't be vague. Okay, whatever the research proposal is, your questions can't be vague. A formulation of this question has a bearing on several factors. So the questions is based on source of the problem, such as from the researcher's interest, from the peers' interest, from the studies, what they have done before. So your problem is related to your own research work. Factors in the problem selection, such as focus, point of view, and time frame. So what is your problem, and what is your focus, and what could be the time frame you're going to take for it, and what is your point of view on the research question. Now, prospect of a good problem proposal, such as relevance, novelty, and practicality. I've already discussed that your question should be relevant. It should be noble. Okay, it should not be something which is like which is not needed, or which is different point of view from the whole world. What is they're thinking? Okay, it has to be a noble cause as well, and it has to be practical. You can't select something which is not practical. Now, after determining the problem, the researcher may then take steps to develop a clear and functional problem statement. This entails establishing the research topic within the general idea of studies. So, after you're selecting your problem, it has to be a general idea of a study, developing a more narrowly defined problem that represents an aspect of the research topics. So, you have to narrow down your research as well, that it's not going out of proportion or out of the time frame. Formulating the defined issue, the problem of statement. We have seen that. Now, hypothesis of the study, as I've already told you, hypothesis is stated by the way of declarative sentence, relating either in general or in specific terms. The relationship of these factors or variables with clear implication that this relationship can be empirically or statistically measured. So, hypothesis is nothing but you're taking a nearest guess, and you're going to find the answer for your problem or your question, and it could be represented empirically, or it can be represented statistically. Without these characteristics of being potentially measurable, the hypothesis is not valid, or it can be least or poor assumption. So your hypothesis, you're taking a nearest guess, could be accepted or it could be rejected. We will talk about these hypotheses in detail. Now, hypothesis of the study. The importance of hypothesis is a tool in scientific research has long been established, because they direct the research inquiries, saying in effect what has to be done. So when we talk about the hypothesis, they talk about like how you're going to go about it, what you're going to do about it, and how you're going to find the answer for the question, and what effect it will bring to the your peers, your friends, your society, or anyone who is reading your research. They enable the researcher by the way of their general relational statements to make deductions on specific manifestation implied by the inquiry problem. Please don't get bogged up with the sentence. It says that when you're talking about the research, they're talking about how to bring the answer or how to deduce your answer with the inquiry problem. So you're doing your research work, and how you're going to bring the answer, that will be your hypothesis of the study. Now, hypothesis of the study is a more radical way of stating its importance, is to say that a research problem cannot be scientifically solved unless it is reduced into the hypothesis form. So you have to take a nearest guess before you start with your inquiry. Now, significance of the study. So when you're doing a research work, it's just not for your own self. It is for the everyone who is reading your research work. The presentation should prove the importance of the study in terms of solving a problem. So you have solved a problem, narrowing or bridging a knowledge gap, improving socio-economic or political cultural problems, conditions, validating research instruments and methods, and supporting development trust. So everything which is included in your research should benefit the people who are reading it, and you have to find the answer for it. Now, scope and delimitation of the study. The scope tells the extent to which the results of the inquiry may find an application. So, what could be your what could be your whatever the research work you have done, how you can apply those research work. Okay. Now, delimitation gives information on the shortcomings of the investigation and where the results may fail to apply. So, when you are delimiting your research work, sometimes it is not easy to apply those results in the practical world. Okay. So, what could be your shortcomings? You need to keep that in mind before you start your research work. Now, scope and delimitation of the study. One difficulty in research concerns the issue of generality or specificity. If the research problem is too general, it can become a vague, thus not measurable. General terms such as democracy, innovation, self-transformation do not carry immediate empirical value. So they're saying when you're talking about the research work and you're delimiting your studies, it should be useful. Okay, it has to have an importance, it has to have a meaning. You can't do the research work on basis of what you think as a student, and it has to have an empirical value. That means it has to have a it has to have an impact, it has to have an answer, it has to have some scope, what you have found out. Now, on the other hand, there is the other extreme, too much specificity as well. While every scientific research needs to be narrowed down, there is a danger of making the inquiry too thin and trivial. So sometimes they're saying when you're talking about the research work, it could be really based on your own findings, or it could be very small as well. But over here, still, I would say any research work is not waste. Okay, it's not a waste, and sometimes other people might not understand your research, but you have to stick to it and you have to find a answer for your research work as well. Now, next is definitions of the terms. So in sometimes in the research work there could be some terminologies I've already spoken about could be really difficult to understand. So you have to operationalize the term. These scientific words is to define. Okay, you have to define your scientific research work. I want to ask someone that if anyone has done the research work and you can explain which scientific terminologies you have explained in your research. Can you name one at least? So I want to ask the students, if you have used your research, you have done your research, and you want to operationalize the one of the terminologies used in your research, which was difficult for the others to understand.
We researched through online tools, but not physically. As far as in my opinions and observations and my learning-based theories, I hope definitions of terms should be put in the paper, like as a definitions of terms, which is not
Yes, Muhammad, my
clear.
question is different. Muhammad, my
Yeah,
question is, if you have done any research work and you found that one of the word was difficult for others to understand, and did you operationalize your terminology?
this means the one who can answer, who have done research before, he can answer this question. I
No,
hope
not you. Have you done any research before? I'm asking.
not physically through online. I research through online, not physically.
Okay, you have not submitted anything yet. So my question
Yes,
was,
yes.
for example, you have done any assignment. Yeah, have you done any assignment before?
Yeah. I have done assignments.
Yes. So
There's questionnaires. You could,
in that
yeah.
assignment, did you find anything which was difficult for others to understand, which you had to define those terminologies?
Barriers of, yeah, of course, I have lots of terms that I should
Yeah.
explain clearly at my
Yes.
assignment, in my assignment.
Can you name one?
Yeah, barriers of educations, like each small topics, but what is the barriers and what is the difficulties of educations in the Rohingya refugee camps? It was the questionnaire
Okay.
topics, the problems, but whenever I'm going to write it deliberately, I should explain like barriers of education. What is barrier? If I only put these topics, I should explain more clear, carefully and also
So
clearly
what was
that the
the
reader can
Mohammed? What
understand.
was the
While
barrier then? What was the barrier? What do we?
the barrier was
How do you explain the
yeah, barriers,
terminology barrier?
barriers like that, lack of identity and lack of quality for teachers in the Rohingya refugee camps. Youth, the students cannot learn well as they want. Like this, I've written more, but I should say it in short as
Okay. Okay, well done. That makes sense now to me, because I'm not teaching just for the sake of teaching. I want you to understand as well. One
hello,
more student took their hand up. Can you explain?
hello.
Hi.
Ma'am, are you hearing me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you. Anwar, I will take you as well. Can you just
Okay.
give? Yeah, go go on. Who is answering?
I'm going to share that Muhammad Anas. May I?
Yes, go on.
Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Mohammed, can you answer first, and then Anwar
Ma'am,
can answer? Okay, Anwar, can you answer, please?
Could you all please go one by one? Please, please, please.
Anwar, do you want to answer now?
yeah, yes, ma'am. Can you please again repeat the question? I
Okay, the question
actually a
is,
bit confused with your
no
question.
worries.
That's why.
Okay, my question to you is, so
Yeah.
if you have done any research, any assignment you have submitted, have you operationalized any terminologies, or any, you have defined any terminologies which was not able to understand, which others were not able to understand?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Firstly, like for example, in research there is methodology. Many of our do not understand what is methodology mean, ma'am.
Anwar, my question is not that. My
Yeah.
question is, have you done any research work wherein you have
Yes, ma'am.
defined the terminologies, not methodology. Methodology is like general. I'm not talking about the general one. I'm talking about your specific research wherein you have operationalized, you have defined the terminology. Okay, I'll take up Aziz. Aziz, you have the answer?
Yes, I think I can. And as
Good.
for your question, and as for the definition of terms, it is if someone did a research project and if they have some somewhat they do not understand, they translate it. Like in your language, if someone does not understand, what is
Aziz, my question
namaste.
is that is not my question. Aziz, my question is, if you have done any research work, have you operationalized any terminologies which the others were not able to answer?
Yeah. That is what I was answering, ma'am.
I want from
Like
your
for
assignment.
example, yeah.
From your
If
assignment.
I do some, okay. If I did some assignment, and there might include some word that does not understand by others, by some other reader who does not understand our language. So if we translate our that word that they do not understand, like if it could be a word that is namaste, like greeting. If they do not understand the namaste, then we can
Aziz,
translate it.
my
We
question
can
is
translate.
different.
It
I'm
is
so
called.
sorry. Aziz, my question is different. My question is, have you done any assignment before?
Yeah, I did, ma'am.
So in that assignment, have you gone through any definition? Like, have you submitted any definition?
Yeah, we did sometime. We did. If there is somewhat that is difficult to
Can you
explain,
tell me the
then we
definition of
can.
any of the word which you have used?
Yeah. Okay. As for the one definition, like I had said, mm, Mingalaba.
Do you
If we
remember?
say
That is the
Mingalaba,
Ma'am, can I explain it now, please?
yes, you can. You can go on.
Yeah, ma'am. As I did previously in the study, I operationalized several key terminologies that I were discussed broadly in previous studies, not clearly defined as, for example, integration challenges. This is
Okay.
not understandable for everyone, but I break down
Yes.
it. I break down its measurable definition such as education, employment opportunities, healthcare, service, freedom, etc. These all are included in that words, ma'am.
Well done. That's correct. That's what I was looking for. Like, for example, when I'm saying operationalize the terminologies, which is difficult for others to understand. Okay. So you have to define the terminologies because I know you know the topic or I know you know the words, but not everybody will know the words. Aziz, you're taking your hands up. Do you want to answer? Aziz, you want to answer now? You'd raise your hands up.
no, sir.
Okay,
I have
okay,
No.
okay. That's fine. So well done, Anwar. I got your answer. Now, the third topic is literature review. So, what is the background of your studies? Who have done the extensive research work in your topic? You need to find out. So, foreign literatures is the first one. There are materials published in books, professional journals, magazines, newspapers, and other publications in other countries. Local literature, these are materials found in books, professional journals, magazines, newspapers, and other publications in the country. Foreign studies, these are unpublished materials such as manuscripts, theses, dissertations produced in the foreign countries. So manuscripts is nothing but the written form, okay, the printed form. It's just the words they are using to find out what are the research backgrounds of your studied in different countries. Local studies, these are unpublished materials such as manuscripts, theses, dissertations produced in disagreement in the field of study. Literature review, you'll start with how to plan your literature review. So you will write about the content, you will write about the methodologies and sampling techniques. I've already spoken about the population and sample, use of the same set of factors or variables in the present study. I want to speak to you about the methodologies, the sampling techniques. So when we talk about the methodologies and sampling techniques, we talk about the population, which is your wider range. And the sample, you're going to select it from the population, what you've studied. For example, I studied about the behavior management of my year 11 students. The population will be my whole school. And from the population, I've studied only the sample for year 11 students. So there were only 30 students from whole 1600 students, which were my population. Now, to establish the baseline information about the research problem, we are going to talk about your background. to pinpoint the strengths and weakness of the literature, materials, or studies, to lead the researcher to correct procedure for obtaining valid results, and to highlight the importance of your inquiry. So when I'm doing the literature review, when I'm doing the studies of other information from the other researchers, I want to find out whether they have the valid results. Okay, they have found the valid results, and to highlight the importance of your own inquiry. Now, the literature review, the chapter will be organized in several ways, the most common which are the thematic organization, the chronological organization, and the site organization. So when we talk about the literature review, that is your background studies, you will have the thematic organization. The discussion of the researcher is based on the similarities of the ideas or your themes. So you are aligning with the research which you have already done before. Chronological order is by date. Okay, you are going to print out the dates of the research studies and you have to type it accordingly. Somebody has to mute because I can hear the noise. And the site organization is the studies are grouped in foreign or local. Review of the foreign and local studies have a balanced presentation. The inquiry way of determining geographical settings. So whether your research work is done in your own country or whether it's done internationally, you need to write that as well. Some points to be considered while writing the chapters is materials reviewed must relate to purpose, method, and findings with the current study. Otherwise, what's going to happen? If I'm not aligning my purpose, my methods, and findings in the current study, what you have studied, or what you have done the literature review, what's going to happen? Someone wants to answer? If, for example, I've done the research work, okay, I've done the literature review, I've studied so many theses. Now, if it doesn't align with your findings or with your methods, what will happen then?
Ma'am, actually,
Yes, go on.
it will be misunderstanding. It will create misconfusion. I mean
Well
confusion.
done.
So it will be developed more.
Well done. So if your findings, your
Yeah,
research,
ma'am. According to
sorry, go on.
I mean, it will not be valid for the thesis for the
Well
paper,
done.
ma'am. It will not
Excellent.
be
Exactly
acceptable. Yeah.
correct. Yeah, it is not relevant. It is not exactly what I want to find. It's such a waste of time, isn't it? Then we have to interrelationship of the materials should be clarified, while strengths and weakness of each material are pointed out. Now, the transition from the past study to the present study should must be shown, possibly showing the evolvement of one work to another. So, whatever the research has been done before, and whatever your research work is, it has to evolve. Okay, it has to find something new as well. It's not only that work is done. So, what is the purpose of doing the research then? If the work is already done, what you're finding new? In the text, only the last names of the authors are given. However, initials to be included in the case the work cited are written by persons with the same surnames. So they're saying, for example, someone has done the research work before, and you're going to write the name of the researcher. So you need to write the name of the researcher who has done the work first and with the surnames. Okay, with the surnames. So there is a way, there is an American way, and there is one more way of citing the names of the researcher. So there are different ways to write the research names. Now, a good review or related literature review will be characterized with the following. Most recent materials are used, reviews objective and unbiased. So you're not putting your own opinion on your research work. The materials reviewed are relevant. The basis of the review confirms the genuinely materials and the facts of the data and validity of the reliability of the data. So whatever your data is finding, you need to be reliable. You need to be facts. It has to be really authentic. Materials are sufficient enough to provide insight on the research problem. So whatever materials you're learning or you're researching about, it has to be put an insight in your research problem. While the length of the section is not prescribed, it is best to limit to the most recent and most related materials in order to effect the holistic and organized review. So when you're talking about the research work, it has to be holistic. Okay, it has to have the whole point of view and it has to be in organized manner. Now, methods and procedures, we have already spoken about the methodologies. There are three different and the talking about the quantitative and qualitative methods. I don't know whether you have done this before. So I want to talk about the quantitative and qualitative methods. Anyone?
Yes, ma'am, we did it before.
Go on. Anwar?
Ma'am, you mean quantitative and qualitative data, right?
Yes.
Yes. Qualitative data use to provide the explanation with words, information
Yes.
in detail,
Well done.
and the quantitative is used to write with numbers in a
Well done.
statistic form.
That's correct.
Thank
That's correct. Absolutely correct.
Hello, ma'am. Yeah,
Have sir, you
ma'am.
want to say something?
Hello,
Of course,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. Hello,
Yeah, go on.
ma'am.
Anwar, you need to.
Quality.
Anwar, can you just mute
Yeah.
1 second, Hamza? Anwar, can you mute yourself because I won't be able to hear that. Go on, Hamza.
Yes, ma'am. What do you mean? Anwar brother was speaking, so I could not clear.
No, Hamza, my question is, what do you mean by qualitative and what do you mean by quantitative data? Okay, Anwar, we got your answer. You have already answered. I was just asking Hamza. Okay, that's fine. We'll
Okay,
move on.
ma'am.
Okay, go on.
No, ma'am. Can
Yeah.
you?
Yeah. Oh shit.
Anwar, you have already answered. I want answer from Hafzar now.
Yes, ma'am.
Good.
According to me and previous knowledge, qualitative is used to explain with information and words. Secondly, quantitative used to explain with numbers, chart, or a statistic
Well,
form.
well done. That's correct.
Clear, ma'am?
Yes,
Thank
yes,
you.
that's correct. Well done, Hafzar. Now, we're talking about the sampling techniques. We're talking about the probability and non-probability sampling techniques. So probability techniques uses the chance process in selecting the sample of the research, and non-probability is convenience sampling, which uses the what are available or purposive sampling. So when we talk about the probability sampling, that we are talking about the sampling technique with the chances, whereas non-probability is convenience sampling, and it is purposive. So what is the purpose of the your research? That will be based on your sampling techniques as well. So now next is your instrument of your own studies. So there could be different type of you can say the methodologies we can use is observation method, interview or questionnaire method. It could be in printed form, and it could be in your surveys, or it could be in the documents which you're going to use. So there are different instruments which we used in the sampling technology. Now, validation of the instruments used. So validity, reliability, and readability is used in the sampling techniques and on the research work as well. So valid is like whatever you're using, the methodology, it has to be valid, okay? It has to be reliable. The techniques has to be reliable, and it has to be readable. As I was saying, if the audience, if your person who is reading your research get confused with the research work, that means there is something which is not clear. Now, statistical treatment of the data. Based on the instrument questions, the appropriate statistical tools are used, such as frequency counts, percentage squaring, mean, standard deviation, and 5-point Likert scale, and the t-test. So there are different sampling techniques we can use, and the methodologies for your data evaluation, I would say, would be different frequency counts, like number of people you're counting, for example, percentage you can use mean, standard deviation, and 5-point Likert scale, and the t-test. I am not able to go into the detail of this. Probably in the next lesson I will go. I'm just going to do how the research the researchology is done today, and in the next lessons I will go into the detail of the your data determination. Okay, now
Okay,
chapter.
ma'am. Thank you so much. Okay, Prof. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think this is the end of the section today.
Yes,
Yes.
sir. Yes, sir. That is the
Okay.
last
Okay.
one.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Now, data analysis presentation is done in your textual, tabular, and graphical form. I will go into the details because we have 3 more lessons to go. I will go into the detail uh, in in those other 3 chapters as well about the sampling techniques, which will be helpful for me as well, Mr. Kesar, because I'm going to give my defense. I'm going to do my viva for my research work, my PhD thesis submission. It is so helpful for me as well. So last thing I
Yes.
would like to complete is to summary, to use the conclusion, and to recommendation of your research problems. So that's end of my teaching today. If anyone has got any doubts, any questions, you can ask. Or if the time is up, I don't know, Mr. Gasser, I don't know if the time is up.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I think. I know that I took more than 1 hour today from you. So thank you so much. I mean, for your time and effort. I
No
think
problem.
we can wrap up the section today. Of course, I'm going. I'm going to also to publish the video so that they can revisit
Yes, sir.
to the video record and listen again and again and get
Yeah.
the things clear that they didn't clear now. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much. But as I'm saying, I will be talking more about it next 3 topics, next 3 chapters, next 3 lessons. So please be available, ask questions. And I'm so sorry. Today I was like being really particular about the answers because I don't want anyone to have any wrong knowledge.
Yes. Yes.
And I'm so sorry if I've been strict today.
It's okay. Thank you so much. Yeah.
No,
Actually, yeah.
thank you
Also,
so much. Yeah.
we are many students didn't join to this section. I think